Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by the 10th man, Ranty Flat Earth, Righteous Force, and the one in G+. Very good to have you all.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello. And we've also got Oblivion, Unicorn Laser Eyes, and the Flat Earth Daddy in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Yeah, the Earth is flat.
Enthusiastic Discord server, as ever. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Chula Vista.
Not on a flat plane.
Hold on, it's not often I hear a name of a country that I don't know. Say that again. Chula Vista?
No, Chula, C-H-U-L-A, Vista. It's
Chula Vista?
city south of San Diego.
Chula Vista? New one on me.
Yeah, Chula.
Shout
Chula
out to
Vista.
everyone in Chula Vista. No curve where you are, apparently. What about axial rotation? Do the people of Chula Vista experience any Earth turn?
Well, they have a roundabout in the city. Maybe that could fall in for that question.
For crying out loud. Of the Earth-based... Oh my God. Right, it's not even Ranty I'm talking to. Any evidence?
No, I don't think so.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Specifically, Earth-based.
Not
From Chula Vista?
From Chula Vista.
not because the people in Chula Vista know that there is no axis to rotate upon.
Okay, right. Do the Chula Vistans have any signs of gravity that's scientific-based?
No, I haven't met a Chula Vistian that ever defended gravity yet.
No, people in Chula Vista said there is no detection of gravitons after people became fatter around Christmas time. No increase in gravity, sorry. Still a bullshit.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence for that beautiful light in the sky, how far it is.
Or what it is.
Maybe we could get a Dr. Becky update. So any single viable scientific hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Not by Daniel Faulkner.
Not by Dr. Becky. The invitation's been sent out many times.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, if you presuppose Narnia, Aslan can make it happen.
No, we're only presupposing any evidence of a pressure being maintained without the existence of a container.
Nope.
No.
The necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container.
What about the R value? Any evidence of Earth radius?
I always confuse that with the retardedness of some globe heads. Yes and no to this question.
I think that's it. Is that all of the housekeeping? Did I miss any? I don't think so.
Let's see.
Any evidence?
Radius?
No, had Earth radius. think that's it. That concludes the housekeeping. Got a few more people in Discord. Shout out to Chow Young Cat for smashing the super chat. Shout out to kids selling that. Oh, I'm just going to get you on my other screen. I'm really sorry. Here we go. Shout out to kids selling... Oh, it's chiclets in Tunisia. Okay.
Wow.
I'll shout you out for selling chiclets, people of Tunisia.
I found that quote from Orwell.
Oh, brilliant. Perfect timing.
All right, so it's called "No One Can Serve Two Masters" is the label, but here we go. "What are the stars?" said O'Brien indifferently. "A few kilometers away. We could reach them if we wanted to, or we could blot them out. The Earth is the center of the universe. The sun and the stars go around it." Winston made another conclusive movement. This time he did not say anything. O'Brien continued as though answering a spoken objection. "For certain purposes, of course, that is not true. When we navigate the ocean and when we predict an eclipse, we often find it convenient to assume that the Earth goes around the sun and that the stars are millions upon millions of kilometers away. But what of it? Do you suppose it is beyond us to produce a dual system of astronomy? The stars can be near or distant, according to as we need them. Do you suppose our mathematicians are unequal to that? Have you forgotten doublethink?" George Orwell, 1984.
Perfect.
Right.
I was close enough with my "is it beyond our mathematicians" for you to find it then.
Our mathematicians.
Mathematicians, yeah. Double thinking mathematicians in this instance.
No wonder they lead us on rabbit trails. They're magicians.
Can't think of a pun fast enough.
You're a hair short, Nathan.
Oh, damn you.
The 10th law of thermodynamics states the speed in which 10th men can produce puns is unfathomable.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it's good to be back live.
Sure is.
100 people watching. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Let's work our way through some of the Discord server, see if it actually works. Although you said hello to me and it didn't, you 10th man, before the show started.
Yeah.
Any fundies in there?
What's happening with the globeheads? Did they die out during the holidays? Nobody
Oh,
here.
even the shills have got to have a national holiday awarded to them.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Jesus.
So nothing happened over the holidays with all the people that came over here for the big Christmas family gathering. No one wanted to talk flat Earth, I guess.
Oh, yes, I remember you saying before Christmas that, yeah, well, that's it. If it doesn't just naturally come up, then don't force the issue.
No, but it's funny because I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she was saying that, oh, by the way, that day, one of the members of the family pulled my wife aside and said, "Does he really believe the Earth is flat?"
Oh my God.
But so it was on their minds because obviously I tell people, and we'll see where it goes after I tell them. And if they don't want to talk about it, I don't talk about it. But they're still talking about it, but not to me. So it's pretty obvious they're still thinking of me saying what I said to them the first time.
And they still think it's about beliefs.
Well, then it was great because my wife, of course, she's listens in sometime to what I'm talking about on the show, and I get to share with her a lot. So she said, well, when he first heard about it, he was wanting to say, what the heck? And he started researching it, and he bought a really expensive camera, and he was going to do some testing and to see if what we've been told is going to hold up. And He went into it to debunk it because he remembered when he was in school that he had a problem with the whole model when it was presented to him then. But, you know, there's the official narrative and you don't talk about it anymore. And when Flat Earth came up, it like a spark lit in him, you know, talking about me, of course. But then I went into it cautiously because I already knew I wanted it there as a denier of it and be the harshest critic against it, which is how I came into Flat Earth. I said, okay, I know this sparks something in me, but I can't go that way. I have to go in a very doubting, agnostic way here because I have to prove it's round, and I couldn't prove it's round. So it was awesome.
Well, you're in good spirits, so obviously, you know, I think if it had have overtly come up over the dinner table, you might be in a bit lower spirits. Because these things, as we mentioned in the pre-show, these things tend to generate into the programming that we've all received, and that means ridicule, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the cognitive dissonance. It's, wait a minute, how'd you know before I knew? So a little bit of pride. You're telling me something, and it's embarrassing if you're right, and I didn't know about it. All of these human psychological games go on. Well, you know, if someone tells me the road is out, I'm thankful he told me. I don't want to go over a cliff. But in this case, if you tell him the Earth is obviously and observably flat and stationary, don't tell me that.
Yeah, the flip side of the coin being the automatic assumption that they are correct and it's been confirmed. So it's acceptable to peg the question and say, no, we already know it's a sphere. Therefore, when I give you any example that automatically assumes it's a sphere in the example, that's perfectly justified, fool.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always the human dynamic when you're talking to another human being. You could be using just not the very precise word in explaining something, but you use a word that maybe generalizes the same thing. But let's say I'm the one talking about something, and I'm assuming you're tracking with me, so I'm not going to get down and dirty with the details. I'm just wanting a conversation to flow. But because I don't get down and dirty with a specific word detail, that person takes my whole talk and goes a different route with it than what I'm trying to say. And I don't find out until a day or 2 days later. I said, what? I didn't say that. Why'd you think that?
I just want to say your introduction on Quantum Eraser's channel is pretty awesome. 10th man.
Oh, with the alien on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. The telly. I got that from you. The telly.
The telly.
Well, Adam Meekin was gracious enough to do that for me, and I thank him for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick it to get the introduction trimmed down. It's just so long.
No, leave it. It's ace.
Shut up, Ranty.
Don't ever.
What, is it just going to be an introduction with just you on there, Nathan?
Well, I mean, I had suggested that, but that didn't go over. No, there's a trimmed down version. It's the outro. So the outro's about, I don't know, I can't remember how long I got it down to, about 25 seconds. Maybe it's a bit longer, maybe it's a bit shorter. Either way, you know, short. But I don't think it needs 3.5 bloody minutes at the beginning. And I absolutely in no way dislike the intro. In other words, the core material is absolutely perfect. But, you know, there's about 10 seconds of the newspaper. It hits the ground and sits there. It's like, what? No, you know, it's just, these things need to be bang, 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 bang. And then you're into the show. So it kind of gets your excitement level up. But, I don't know. Now it's been played out a few times. It's Adam's work, you see, so I know that by saying this is actually being extremely rude, but by the same token, I did spend a good solid day trimming down about 8 different versions that were short to give people a choice, and even, you know, I'm not saying I've done anywhere near the amount of work Adam did on that intro, but by the same token, now it's gone out a few times, I really hope QE just listens to reason and makes it 30 seconds long instead of 3.5 minutes.
I think it gives people time to fill up, you know, if you once you get the notification that someone's going live, then just gives people time to actually join and start watching it before you get into it.
Oh, right. And the vast majority of people watch it live. Oh, no, they don't, do they? They all watch it on the recorded version that's not
I don't know,
live.
you had 200 people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many have watched that now? Is it 2,000 plus? So less than 10% watched live. So the vast majority of people will sit, through a 3.5 minute intro while they wait for the live show to start? No, they're not watching it live. Anyway, these are my gripes. I shared them with you as my pain. Radius Dominus.
I'll just shout out Arwin. Hello.
Hi.
And next, just to give my take, if there is a live show on YouTube, I'll join and watch the stupid YouTube countdown thing, and post comments. And if I play it if it's already recorded, and I just play it, I'll skip the intro anyway. So I think it's good with the 3.5 minute intro.
I get it. It's not that I don't understand the principle. That's why on a premiering stream you have the countdown from 2 minutes. So I totally get it. But once that has gone out, they remove it. So you no longer have a countdown. Well, to me, the long intro is just effectively a countdown that's staying when the show's been done. And you can have the best of both worlds with a 30-second intro. In other words, it's not so short that it's gone within an instant and you're suddenly flustered and having to start live. 30 seconds is plenty. I mean, I think the intro for this is about 12 seconds? Da-da-dun, 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 flat earth debate. And then that's it. It's about 12 seconds. So 30 is you've got a lot of people on the panel potentially, so you want to introduce them all with a little bit of a clip from them. Mine being the longest, obviously.
Speed it up 10 times and you have a 35-second intro.
Yeah, as long as 12 of it's dedicated to me, I'll be happy. But so long as it's also 30 seconds.
What was it? The word starts with N. Somebody called you that before with an N.
Nathan.
No, oh my God. Don't be like this, man, now.
You mean nth man?
Oh, there you go.
No, narcissist. Right. Who was it? Rumpus called you, or no, Brenda?
I've
Who
been
called
called
you
a
that?
narcissist plenty of times.
Yeah.
I think it was another narcissist.
Quite possibly. They do tend to project their own narcissism onto you.
Good morning, Arwin.
Nathan.
That's a bit of a current affairs then. So Patricia Steer's now kind of back on the scene. So she's started a channel covering exactly that, psychopathy, narcissism, whatever you want to call these monsters. But yeah, so any thoughts and feelings on that? Did anybody see Karen B's restream?
No, I haven't seen it.
So check out Karen B's restream, Robbie Davidson's broadcast originally, I believe, and it went out on, I don't know where the radio station is. Nevertheless, it was restreamed by Karen B, so that's where you can find it. And she's discussing, Patricia Steer is discussing her new channel, what will be on there, the type of content, her journey to reach the point where she wants to make a channel about narcissistic abuse. So there you go. That's a general summary of what she talked about in that interview. It's about an hour and a half long.
Oh, the
Talking about
trolls.
Patricia.
The trolls will be delighted.
Maybe not. It's a different section of YouTube. So there is a whole different community, which I've explored at nausea, which is the narcissistic abuse community. They're very different people to us. They're a different subset of people on the internet. So
They don't.
there might
They
be
don't
some.
have trolls.
Sorry,
I thought
there's a
every-
helicopter
I
taking
thought
off here
every
for some
genre-
reason. One of the toys has just randomly decided to take off as a helicopter. But there we go. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying? That totally distracted me.
Well,
I'm sorry.
wait. Did it prove Coriolis?
It didn't even really. I'm going to have to actually turn it off because it is going to become a big problem. Bear with me a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
What, the Coriolis?
No, the
Coriolis.
the Coriolis helicopter in Nathan's roundabout. That's great. No, I thought there were trolls for everything on the internet. I mean, I'm not on it that much following too many things, but I saw them here, and I said, "Oh, these trolls probably are." I assumed they'd be on every subject everywhere. Yeah, I mean that's all they got time to do, right? Just latch on like a fish to the belly of a shark and go for the free ride and feel like they're contributing when all they're doing is being negative.
Can I have 30 seconds of airtime? I just want to shout out the Globe Lite Lounge Discord server and say that's an amazing place. I'm really having a good time with the people there. They're doing a great job.
Wow,
No,
beautiful
you
segue.
can't.
You have 30 seconds now to say that same thing. Go.
No, you can't.
Over.
I think I've solved the problem. The rough rescue has commenced. The helicopter has departed.
Did it departed apparently or actually?
No, actually departed. It was
It's
no
in a
apparent.
different. If it's in a different reference frame, the one
Oh, okay.
like the other room.
Yeah, that came up on the Christmas shows. I think it was Ranty that brought it up. You know, that was a fairly recent thing that we can leave behind us in 2019. You know, the unpicking of the very convoluted, nonsensical argument that is Coriolis deviation on a spinning, rotating sphere Earth is now RIP.
Yeah, it is, and it's quick death. But I really, when we had them come under the old way as well, because like you always said, if it's spinning under the pendulum, it has to be spinning under the helicopter. They were dead both ways. One was just longer.
Yeah. But there is a more sophisticated question coming out of this. Can you change pants while you're changing rooms?
Oh wow, that's a.
Well, that was a
That was
nonsensical question that came from somebody who won't get a credit for it, but somebody who didn't appreciate the reasons and whys and wherefores of the globe Earth argument structure in regards to Coriolis deviation. So you have Zanuck, who's a far more competent debater, essentially forcing us, his opponent, into assuming the Earth is turning in all examples. So when you step off a roundabout in his example, no, you're still on a non-inertial spinning reference frame because he's automatically begging the question that Earth is turning. So, you know, it took a fair bit of arguing with Zanuck to reach the point where we understood how their argument worked, when they're not just how their argument worked, we understand there should be deviation and there isn't. That's the most simplistic way of explaining this. If you launch a drone and Earth's spinning, it should deviate. According to them, the pendulums and the gyroscopes prove there's two reference frames. And the bullets and the balls from Neil deGrasse Tyson being thrown on football fields prove there's two reference frames. Therefore, you should launch a drone and it should deviate. You should see it drift. Because not because it's moving left or right when you push the up stick, but because you're apparently rotating underneath it. Now, we don't see that effect. So then you enter the argument here in the trenches where they automatically assume a non-inertial spinning reference frame that is a turning Earth, and then have an argument that justifies why we don't see deviation. But with the begging the question in place that we are on a spinning Earth, regardless of which way you argue. So argue that it should deviate, you're going to beg the question that Earth's turning. Argue that it's not deviating but justified because of X, but again automatically assuming that we're turning. So that was the end of their argument. They had no way out at that point because we had to be in a position of begging the question of a spinning ball Earth for them to argue with us with any sort of conviction that they might win at the end. As soon as you get to the point where Chocolate pointed out, no. Let's not just assume we're spinning while we start explaining away why we have Coriolis deviation. That's an effect of Earth spinning. So prove we're spinning first. Don't just justify this deviation you claim is because Earth's spinning as a part of your assumption. Go on, Ranty. Or were you just choking?
I was just coughing there. Sorry, I thought
choking with your mic open.
Well, it's a double speak, and they get caught in it as well because we saw what Zanuck was doing and the others there all the time. They were using the roundabout to represent the Earth spinning, And you say, okay, well, when you get off the roundabout and you're on the Earth, it should have the same qualities as if the roundabout was spinning, but we don't see those qualities because a helicopter goes up and China doesn't come to it. So they were double speaking with the non-inertial and inertial reference frames, and it's like a spaghetti confusion. So the newer way is much better, obviously. First, prove the Earth is spinning.
So Ranty is back to his old psychopath ways. ... Arwin.
What?
Yeah.
Time for coffee.
What's that? Care to elaborate?
Oh, I did an entire show on it. Why didn't you watch it?
Don't normally watch your shows. What's going on?
Oh, well, you put out a video yesterday. I just happened to not be present when you did it. But yeah, you used video, and I specifically asked you on several occasions, including to your face pretty much, with voice, not to do that. Also because it's not funny. But yeah, you can't help it. Because of that.
So you did a video. So you've done a live stream today about me.
Hmm?
So you were triggered over the triggered nomination.
Now, I was triggered over the standard betrayal that I've come to expect from you.
Hang on, wait a minute. So you dedicated a stream to me. You were that triggered that you dedicated a stream over being nominated for a triggered award.
Whatever you want to call it.
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, Brenda, she had a right rage. She went on one, and she hasn't contacted me at all. And neither has Sean Hawkins either. In fact, the only person that's mentioning anything about this is you. And I don't know why you would be upset about that.
Are they
Because it's
mates
something
then?
that you put out
Hold
on your
on.
own. Hang on, wait a minute.
I know
Are
you
they
don't
mates?
understand.
Hang on, wait
because
a
you're a
minute.
psychopath.
Brenda
You know,
and Shaw
something-
mates of
Hang
yours.
on, wait a minute.
Are Brenda and Shaw mates of yours then, Ranty?
No, but they could contact me on Skype. I mean, Brenda's still contacts with me on Skype, you know, because I've had her on the show. So
Yeah, well, she's
contact
probably
me.
not inclined to do that again after what you subjected her to.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Right. Yeah,
anyway,
by pulling in
the-
right the hand on your show and then letting it obviously go out of control, which is exactly what you wanted.
hang on,
because
wait a
that's
minute.
the kind of guy you are.
I've seen you laughing along with that, Arwin.
No.
Yes, you have, and lots of people have seen it too. You thought it was very amusing when Brenda lost her shit, and
No.
yes, you did.
No, I
And
didn't.
you also found it incredibly funny when we were talking about Sean Hawkins on the stream about a week
okay,
ago.
but that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, well, people get triggered. You
Yeah,
should understand
yeah, but that was
understand what the
completely
word
silly
triggered
out of
means.
nothing.
Understand what the word triggered means. Triggered means being triggered. You were triggered. Brenda was triggered. Everyone's been triggered on that show for a particular clip. That's it. It's simple. It's happened. You put it on your channel. They put it on their channels. It was on my channel. It doesn't matter.
Ranty, I think there's some better examples of people being triggered. You know, for example, when you see people murdering somebody else, that's very triggered. Why don't you put that on the list? Because that's kind of funny too, right? It's triggered,
No.
isn't it?
Maybe it's a language
Isn't it?
thing that you don't understand what the word
Oh,
triggered means.
language. No, it's the language of the soul, Ranty, and I know exactly how to speak it.
Well, you know, I mean, you could look at it as a language of the soul for Brenda because she was incredibly triggered at that time for a particular purpose. She was very upset over something about a gender. So
Yeah, and
you
I
know,
don't
I mean,
think that is funny. I did think, however,
everyone else
it was
seems
funny
to.
the way she did it and didn't
Every-
just step away. It was completely ridiculous not to do that. But yeah, that's not the same with me, however. Because
you're
I
not
was
triggered
triggered
now?
about something I was being subjected to by pretty much all of media. And everyone was at the time. And I couldn't handle that. And had a very genuine outrage response. It's very personal.
Triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were triggered.
Yeah.
And it's a triggered
And
award.
anyone who thinks that it is like something to hold up and think it's funny is a monster, Ranty.
It was funny.
Yeah, you're a monster.
It was
Hold on.
funny.
Okay, right. I think you've
You
had it out
are
enough.
a
Hold on.
monster,
Just one second,
Ranty.
Darwin. Just one second. So, from that little back and forth, the only thing that I've gleaned from this is that Arwin specifically asked you not to use that. Is that right, Ranty?
No, I've not had a specific message from him saying that.
Yeah,
He
you
messaged
have.
me
You have
after
in your chats
the
and
video.
face to face. I told
No,
you
you
not
didn't.
to do it.
You actually said in the chat, you actually said, "Oh, I'm glad he used the 1,000 subscriber one and nothing else." That's the only comment that you actually made.
Yeah, well,
that
that's
was
on your show.
And let me just confirm. Let me just clarify something as well, because I've been doing these shows with Sleeping Warrior, and he was the one that told me that I should not protect you from the video that you did when you was incredibly triggered, and that I must include that if you get to the final 3, which you did. So in being fair to everybody else that was on that particular video, which Brenda was at her worst, Sean was at his worst, it was only fair that that video was included.
Oh, really? Was it?
Well, yeah.
Did they elaborately basically
I still
show
haven't got
off
clarity.
about murdering
Arwen,
people? Was it
Arwen,
really that
I
funny?
want to ask you something. Did you or didn't you ask Ranty to not use that footage? Because he's saying otherwise now.
I might have not said it in his own
well then,
show.
tough shit.
But he's
Tough
been
shit.
around. Yeah,
Then
he's
tough.
been talking about it here. I've been
Arwen.
talking about it in Skype panels.
Arwen,
It's
tough
him.
luck. It's just tough luck then. The
Tough
subject.
luck. Yeah, well, tough luck. I'm gonna get it down because it should not be there.
You're
It's
in the
an
same boat as all of them.
It's not funny.
I was in the same boat. I could have been nominated. Although, let's be honest, George looked a lot more triggered in my clip than I did. So that wasn't going to go very well. Anyway, the point is, you know, it is just a triggered moment. I've got to back. This started out with me thinking I was going to give Arwen an earful, Ranty an earful, and now I've just got to say, look, just got to suck it up. And I can understand you're upset because it is upsetting. But there are worse things out there, like the thing you were reacting to, which did not get covered. I didn't even know that. I couldn't remember what the thing you were reacting to is. So,
Pedophiles.
I don't need reminding.
Stories about that and them getting murdered and them being savage. That shit was all over the news about eating them and all.
But Ranty didn't cover that. Yeah, and I can
We were all
understand you.
doused in it, and I literally got sick.
I can understand that, but Ranty didn't cover that, did he?
No, he didn't. So
Right.
he put it all out of context.
Yeah,
It's
that's what happens.
monstrous.
Yeah, well,
I
wouldn't you
would
say
never
that?
display anything
Arwen,
like that
please
if
calm
there
down,
wasn't a very
please.
specific reason to do it.
Right. Brenda's identity in terms of her gender was being challenged. Wouldn't you say she's got equal right to be just as outraged?
In a way, yes.
Right. So
But
you're
at
all
the same time, she was not put out of context because that part that actually really was the trigger, it was included. Ranty didn't put the real reason
No, I
for me
didn't.
being triggered
No, I
in there
didn't.
because it wouldn't
I
have
didn't.
been funny then.
No, I didn't.
Now,
No, I
would it,
didn't.
Ranty?
No, I didn't.
No, you
I didn't
didn't.
include the part up to that.
No, you didn't. You just all of you just got shown as being
Because
triggered.
it wouldn't have been funny then.
It was funny. You said it yourself. It's just not funny when it's you, and I understand. But that's tough luck.
But you think it's funny?
No,
It's
I think
Christmas.
Ranty's a
It is
total.
funny.
Think it's funny what
No,
I
if I was you, I'd think Ranty was a prick too.
Thanks.
If I saw anybody do that, I would not think it's funny.
I wouldn't either if it was
Creepy
me.
as shit.
I understand. I have the empathy to appreciate. I'm not a psychopath. That it would be upsetting for you and Brenda and Sean. Have some
No,
empathy
that's
for
not
them.
what I'm saying.
No, because you just want you're upset to be heard, and I understand and appreciate that it's upsetting. You know, in many ways, Ranty should still just apologise that he's hurt his mate. That's all I would hope for. You won't get it because he's a wanker.
Dude, do you think that the 1,000 subscriber rant that I'm like proud of that? No, that was embarrassing as well. But at least it doesn't make me look like a monster. It just makes me look silly.
No,
and I
you
kind of
don't.
deserve that.
No.
And I didn't like that, but
That's
I
not
was
true.
okay with that.
No, that's not true. Of all of those clips, and this is said from the heart, you actually seemed passionate, whereas the other two just seemed triggered. Now, their reasons are just as justifiable as yours, but your passion came through in your clip, which is why I think you won't win. I still think Brenda will
One
win.
way or the other, I just don't want to be, I don't want that material to be abused like this. And if I need to copyright the whole thing, I will.
Oh, don't be like that.
Yeah, I will be like that.
This is an opportunity.
Exactly because of this type of thing. I will
take
be.
Take it on the
I
chin.
asked friendly, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just having, no, Arwen, just go along to get along. Like, everybody thinks, like, no. I won't have it taken out of context for people's amusement.
Why not?
Sick.
People do it
It's
to me
sick.
all the time.
I
Ranty,
don't want that.
I know. Well, then that's part of the territory on YouTube. You know, I get daily adverts made about me, Arwin. Daily.
Get ready
welcome to the
to
club.
record a new trigger one.
Well,
He's about to do it.
Exactly. This could turn into that next moment. Rather than just laughing it off and moving on, if you highlight what triggered you and get annoyed about it, that's the thing. That's what they want. Not Ranty specifically, but in this case, yeah, Ranty.
Everything. It's just like, no, just you think that those feelings are gone. Okay, you think that that is just a fluke of the moment.
No.
No.
Of course
It's
not.
a very deep buried real rage, and it's there. It's still there. But I just don't touch upon it.
That's why I said
Because
your
it's too
passion came
dangerous.
through. That's why I said I don't think you will win. And that's why I think Brenda will win.
I don't
'Cause it's
care
just
about
pure
winning.
rage.
I care about it being out there. I don't want it to be shoved in people's faces.
Right. Yours is
Out of
not Arwin, yours is not a self-indulgent outrage. Yours is a passionate outrage, which is why you probably won't win.
I don't care about the winning. I just don't want it to be put out there like that.
Do you want to win?
No, I don't care.
Let me just talk to Ranty for a second. Ranty, clearly he's upset.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe here in the UK we have a different sense of humor. You know, I mean, but I played the video to Tony prior to I actually went live, and we laughed our socks off at it. You know, it was just one of them, and it wasn't anything personal towards Arwin or Brenda or anybody. It was just that they were the top three, and I needed to put a little video out to just sort of like show the worst of what they were triggered about, to get the votes in. Simple as that. You know, there was nothing. I wasn't unbiased or overly biased to anybody. You know,
Come on, don't be like that.
Oh,
Ranty.
really? So why did you not put the actual origin of the context within the examples of my clip
After the video-
when you did
wait
with
a
the other
minute.
example?
After the video finished playing, I explained everyone's reasons for being triggered. I explained that Sean was triggered because nobody was listening to him. I explained that Brenda was triggered because she had a gender, an issue that was going on. And I explained that you were triggered over pedophiles. I explained this after the release of the video on the show, on the same show. It was all put in context. Yes, Arwin.
I didn't catch.
No, well, maybe you should have watched all the video then. It was
Yeah,
all-
really. Yeah, you. Dude. But okay.
Sorry, just
Okay,
who's
then
got all the wind noise?
that's a little better at least.
Ranty, hold on
Still-
one second.
still-
Sorry, admin issue. Hold on. Who's got all the wind noise? Is it you, Ranty? I just
Me? No, it's
Yeah.
not me.
somebody's
Thank
got,
No, it's me. I've got the dog on me.
no, it was
You might-
before. No, it was before you joined. Somebody's got their mic open that's not talking. Then, unless it's Arwin. I don't think it's Arwin. I don't think so. Anyway, the point here at Ranty is, regardless of your intentions, regardless of how unbiased you were, it still upset your mate. So doesn't that deserve, like, I'm sorry I've upset you at the very least?
Oh, I'll rub his little hair for him. There you go. Poor Arwin. I feel sorry for you, Arwin, mate. Please forgive me.
Yeah, he hasn't said it though.
No, he's asked for forgiveness. That's
No.
as good as you get from
No.
Ranty.
I don't want him to try. Okay, I don't want an apology anymore. I just want him to stop.
He didn't apologise. He asked you for forgiveness, Arwin.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way. Forgiveness comes with time. I was very forgiving yesterday, Ranty, when you were on my show and said, like, yeah, let's bygones be bygones. I'm very forgiving. Well, if you then proceed to do something like that, yeah, you can't just flip it around. That's not how it works. That's not how
He
forgiveness
didn't flip it around.
works.
He blamed Anthony. He shared the blame with Anthony.
Yeah, that's why I've joined.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's why I've joined. I've joined because I'm triggered by Ranty. I'm gonna correct a false statement of fact by Ranty, and I'm going to support a correct assertion that he made. My support is for the claim when he said that he spoke to me and I encouraged him to play Arwin's clip. I did, because at the end of the day, Arwin was triggered. Rightly or wrongly, it should be in there. Whether people agree with it or disagree with it is their choice. That's my view. So Ranty was correct in saying that I did say Arwin's clip should be in. However, when Ranty said that we laughed our balls off when he played me the clip last night, It's not actually true, that, Ranty, is it? I said you should maybe not put that bit in because it's clearly triggering him, and I said cut it down a bit. It's a bit
Yeah, you
too
said
long.
it was too long. That's all I heard.
I said it was too long, and I said, but you're not poking the bear. And you said to me, you said that I told you that you should put it in, and that is true. So I agree that I did say put it in, but I don't agree that we laughed our tits off at it. We had a conversation about whether it should be in or not, and I was like, well, it's your call at the end of the day. Publishing be damned. But I can see why it's in. I can see why he's pissed off with it. But let's just be clear, I did not laugh my balls off at it. We had a proper conversation about whether it should be in or not. We did not laugh our balls off at it.
Just one more thing. While these people aren't our friends, do we not have any empathy for Brenda or Sean in this situation? Do you not think that they'd be fuming mad, even though they haven't expressed it to you directly?
Yes, I do for Brenda, actually. I really do. I still think it's funny, but that's my own bias towards social justice warrior issues. It's kind of like, I must think it's funny. I can't help it. But at the same time, I do understand that it really will probably hurt her. And I don't like that in general. It's not how I would do things. As for Sean going, sorry, but that situation was just him acting out of nowhere. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't even live. Just weird. He was just being very weird and loud and ignored. I don't know. I don't think he really even cares about that. Has anybody heard from Sean about it? I haven't.
That's not my point. My point is that their outrage is probably equal to yours, Arwin.
Yeah, Arwin, look at it in the context of Sean or Brenda. I mean, yours is proper triggered. Nathan's right. Yours is triggered based on passion. Theirs was triggered based on some other passion that was at least half on topic. Yours wasn't even on topic, so it's kind of really, it's not really meant to be in there, really. But then again, you are triggered. The point is about it being triggered. But at the end of the day, Arwin, the more you make a deal out of it, the more people are going to react about it. So just pipe down and let it go.
No, it's self-indulgence on the part of self-indulgence for Brenda because somebody's attacking her gender, and self-indulgence for Sean because he's not being listened to like a little baby. Arwin's outrage was for an atrocity he perceived. Well, they're very different things in my view.
Thank you, Nathan. They are.
All triggered, though.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Ranty. I'm only putting the boot in regards to your mate's been upset. Fuck Sean. Fuck Brenda. I don't give a shit. They are upset. They're bastards. They're terrible in terms of their behaviour towards us. She'll enter the chat and say, hello, morons. So, she deserves everything she gets, as does Sean. These people are pricks. Arwin, yeah, he can be a prick, but he's still our mate.
We always have fun with our friends.
You're having fun with your friend at the moment, aren't you? Let's be honest.
You're the one having fun. It's not having fun with your friends.
People
having
do it
fun
to
with
me
your
too.
friends is mutual.
People do it to me too. It's not a big deal.
Not a justification.
Yeah, but hang on. There's a
You
difference,
may
though.
think that, but I'm not.
Hang on, there's a difference.
Afterwards.
There's a difference. I give it and I have to take it, right? Arwin doesn't give it. Does he have to take it?
Yeah.
I'd say not. Well, maybe.
No, I'd say yeah.
He was
He does have to
nominated.
take it. That's part and parcel of the YouTube experience. If he wants to be recognised and grow his channel, that you're just gonna have to suck this up. That's on a different note, though. It doesn't change the fact that you're upset and your mates upset you. That's the bit I want to focus on, because all it takes is a little bit of empathy. And Arwin's even said, I don't care, I don't want an apology, it'll just take time, I will forgive him. Arwin's concession came real quick through his upset. Ranty's still defending it. But that's Ranty. That's what he's like.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm glad to hear that he at least put a context to it at the end, although I'd preferred if he had done it before proceeding that, so people can get a context as they get into it. But it is what it is, whatever.
This is the makeup.
Arwin, if it's any consolation, I agree with you that Ranty is a cunt.
Oh, we all think Ranty's a cunt. That goes without saying.
Say that again, Nathan.
I said that goes without saying, doesn't it? We all think that.
Yeah, but you're just as big a cunt there, Sleepy Warrior.
Look, in all seriousness, look, Ranty's a good guy. He meant no harm, and I don't mind speaking on his behalf, Arwin. And
By what standard?
deep down, he feels that he was justified, and he justified before doing it. The fact that you're upset is something new to him, you know.
There's another individual in history that felt the same way, but I'm not gonna literally make that comparison.
Fair enough.
But whatever.
This is the breakup, then the makeup after Christmas. We've all had too much Christmas dinner, fallen out, and had a big row. Well, we've got indigestion, and now the few days have elapsed, and we're going, yeah, I'm sorry, I was a bit of a dick. Or maybe not from Ranty, but that's because he's Ranty.
I just don't feel I was a dick at all. It was a triggered video. I mean, I've got to be fair to everybody that was in the final 3. I couldn't just put a video out of Arwin going nuts over his 1,000 subscribers when I have Brenda completely losing her shit and Sean doing the same. I can't do. It would be completely unfair to them to not show Arwin doing the same. I'm sorry.
I understand why you've done it. In the interest of balance, you've used Arwin. Used Arwin in the entrance.
Arwin was in the final 3, Nathan. What can I say? I can't change the results.
Look, yeah, I can't argue with that because I was in the list, right? But by the same token,
there was 11
you weren't.
people on the list.
You weren't. You and I fell out before we even were acquainted on account of me taking the piss, perceived by you as taking the piss about something that was on topic. I won't even go through Ken Burns and relive it for the audience. It's not worth it. But my point is, some things can upset you, can't they, Ranty? Is my point.
We had a good back and forth then for a time.
Right, with us both fuming on topic with a subject of significance. This is just a laugh. So when it's on topic, it's okay to be upset. When it's just you having a poke at Ranty and Sean and Brenda, that's acceptable in the interest of balance that your mate gets thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
I give up. That's it. There's no more to be said.
How about if I offer a compromise here? It's one day. We got one. Hey, Chocolate. We got one day before 2020, right? So how about if I get into a rant here between today and tomorrow, and I'll take that 3rd spot.
Right. Well, hey, Ranty, if you want another rage moment, then why don't you see what my actual response was to your video yesterday over at Jose's when George thought it was a good idea to tell me, hey, Arwin, why don't you go stab somebody? Stab me. See how I responded to that. Maybe that's a good nomination.
Your quote wasn't very good. Hold on.
That's what.
Hey, Chocolate, good to have you. You went, yeah, I didn't hear your quote.
No, that's me acting. That's my George voice.
Yeah, but we still didn't hear the quote. It was indecipherable.
I think he said go stab somebody. Is that what he told you?
Yeah,
I understood it.
We were in the middle of arguing globe versus flat Earth concerning satellites, and I got really heated. So in a way, I could have expected that they would eventually go to that. And then George got to shove that in my face as an ad hom. And then I got really pissed off.
Coming from George, Mr. I shave on live hangouts.
I started to
because I'm triggered.
Yeah, hang on. There's the point.
I proceeded to call him a face-shaving little demon goblin.
That's the point. There's the point, right? So the highlighted point of his triggered moment, you threw back at him. So what I'm saying is, this is what happens. People do this. People will expose that and they'll jump over it and they'll say, oh, do you remember when you were triggered and you shaved and this, that, and the other? And you just threw it back in his face right there and then, Arwin. So, everyone's doing it.
And it's funny. It's not humiliating. It really is funny because not only the thing that Ranty did was that, like, for all 3 of you guys, he gave a good reason as to why you were triggered. I mean, you're triggered talking about killing pedophiles. Who would disagree? Not me. I just thought it was hilarious. And the other guy in the background going, ah! Oh my God, I pissed myself.
Hey, do we have any ballers?
No, that was hey.
Do you know,
I know the exact tone. It's like
I found out later that Rumpus could hear him, and the other guy, I can't remember who it was, but the other guy couldn't
Flat
hear
Earth
him.
data.
Flat Earth data, yeah, couldn't hear him, but Rumpus could hear him, and Rumpus just completely ignored him, which is classic.
Hey, do we got any ballers in Discord that want to jump in here and debate Flat Earth?
Maybe. If not, I'm hoping to discuss the show we had with Ben.
Ranty is like the Ricky Gervais, the Golden Globes, just with those awards.
Got a newbie in. Funk, how you doing? Can you hear us, Funk? Oh, he's on server mute. Let's boot him to the after show. Why are you even here? Server deafened. He's not even listening to us, just literally filling a spot.
So Ruhif, he raised his head yesterday and put a video out about Ben's video. I don't know if you, well, against Ben. Did you actually see that?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to segue back onto, because we were supposed to bring it up straight after going live, and then I forgot about it. But yes, that's what I was actually talking about, Ranty. Go ahead.
So Ben, Taboo Conspiracy, you know, we did a show on Ballbusters a couple of days ago. It was an absolutely fantastic show, over 3 hours long. And it was basically going over a video that Taboo Conspiracy put out. And it was exceptional. It was exceptional work. And what we found out, what happened yesterday to sort of like mitigate any traction that Taboo Conspiracy might be getting, you get the old cretinous globe heads coming out of the hovels. In particular, this guy called Ruhif, who raised his miserable head from his hovel, decided to put a video out about a video that Taboo Conspiracy had done many years ago when he first started doing flat Earth research. A bit like myself when we first got our P900 and goes out and starts filming things. It's you know, if you haven't got all the knowledge about how to do all the proper research, you can get things wrong. You can misidentify something. So he put a video out on his old channel that's long gone now. This video's long gone, long been debunked as well. Let me just say, it's not the first time this video's been debunked. He thought he saw something in the video and it wasn't. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal. It's something that happened years ago. But Ruhif decided to go and put this video out that lasted like 13 minutes of putting his name in the title as well, Taboo Conspiracy, you know, and how he's been debunked. Such dishonest from the Globers, because they're not addressing his current research. They're addressing some mistake that he did a long time ago. And it's so galling to me. I actually went live and did a live stream backing it up because I was fuming about it, to be fair, because they can't answer the questions today, you know, the current questions that we have today. They would rather try and attack the personality behind it, the person that got something wrong 2 or 3 years ago on a video. They decided to trot out an old video like that, raise it from the dead, and then try and beat the guy with it because he got something wrong. Well, no, why don't you just answer the video that we just spent 3 hours discussing on Ballbusters? Yeah, because that's his current research now. You know, we all had to make mistakes to get where we are today. It's as simple as that.
Or why doesn't he come in anymore and debate his nonsense? We were talking about Ruhif. He doesn't even come in here anymore. Like, he's irrelevant. What, he's trying to make himself relevant again?
Well, no, he's just trying to muddy the waters again because Ben had he's had such a good run recently. He's got on Globebusters, right? He's putting a lot of content out there. He's doing fantastic work as well. I mean, his work is really good, very popular as well. So because it's getting such good publicity, you know, what they need to do is they need to counter that. So they need to put crap videos out debunking him. Yeah, he debunked him. Big deal. He got something wrong. He misrepresented the building. He didn't line it up properly. Big fucking deal, right? But to put a whole video out about it and title him in the name to try and discredit him from his current work without addressing his current work, it's so dishonest. It's like us going back to 2 years ago when we were talking about the inferior mirage and they were saying it was the Earth curve. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Ranty. I'm just going to shout out for super chats before they get away from me. Shout out to Truth Seeker, who says Arwin is a baby. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Truth Seeker. Arwin is ace. Super Looming Hyena says, I'm root-win for Arwin to win. Thank you very much for the super chat, Super Looming Hyena. And you know, Arwin, how do you say this guy's name? Unitoxfemu? He did tell me how to say it. Unitoxfemu, I think that's right. He says, Copernicus didn't have a Nikon. Ah, so pity. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate all the support. Sorry, Arwin. So, Ruhif, yeah, he's just got his own little circle jerk videos.
Listen, these cornballs need to stop. It's about to be 2020. Y'all still ain't proved the curve. let alone the other 7 questions that we got, let alone anything about your globe. So you guys gonna have to step it up. It's about to be a new decade, and you still ain't proving the globe. So sorry, guys. This last stand of trying to be relevant, all of a sudden, it's sad.
I had something similar before Christmas. So Simon Dan, from what I can glean, although I've not actually seen his video, has gone back to a video I made back in 2015, one of like the first videos I made, and critiqued that. And you're like, really? You're looking at me critiquing the lunar lander from 2015? Amazing. So yeah, other than boosting that particular video, which was dead and buried as far as I was concerned, by several thousand views because Simon Dan's hordes of minions come along, and most of the time I don't respond to comments, but in this instance I did. I was like, okay, fine. How do you have gas pressure without a container? Why isn't it dispersing into this place that you think this machine has gone? None of them are going to reply to that because there is no answer. But these are 2019 arguments as opposed to 2015 musings from somebody who just stumbled across the subject. But there we go. That's just the way it is, I suppose. Go back to the old crap and debunk that rather than address the new arguments. That's much more pleasing if you're trying to make yourself feel better about the fact you can't debunk the 2019 arguments that we have.
Yeah, it was much easier for them 2 or 3 years ago because, we were still finding our feet. So they could always put debunking videos out. Do you remember, Nathan? There was always debunking videos coming out against all the flat earthers that were putting videos out at the time. Because, quite often we didn't know what we were doing. We were still finding our feet back then. Now they can't do that. So they just go back to the old stuff and they regurgitate stuff that has no relevance anymore, has no relevance to the current research that we're doing. And yeah, it's just dishonest. And I just wanted to highlight that and let people know that, if you're going to check a debunking video, just check what they're actually trying to debunk and see if it has any relevance to today's research.
Well, no, it doesn't. What amuses me the most is 2 phrases which you will know make sense here. One is cherry picking, and the other is low-hanging fruit. So they've made their way to the low-hanging fruit back in the day when we didn't address the fact that the entire argument that they want to have about whether or not the lunar lander can be filmed from the moon via a remote station transmitting a relay to something orbiting in a second law of thermodynamics violation. That's the current argument, I might add.
That's pretty sad that they went back to the... Who was this? Simon Dan?
From what I can understand, I don't expect to just see a massive increase on an old video with people referencing Simon Dan and their comments to me. So, like I say, I haven't seen his video. I have no idea what the video is actually about, other than his fans have been directed to an old video I made about the lunar lander and its absurd nature. I mean, but since that video is made, I can't remember which cartoon it was, but there was a mainstream adult style, Adult Schwinn or whatever style cartoon that showed Kubrick making the video for something going to Mars, I believe. And he tells everyone to turn away because there's going to be a blast that's too powerful, nods to nuclear weapons. Anyway, and then he chucks a lunar module into the puddle of water that they've got next to them and says, splash! It's arrived from space. But there's a part in that particular cartoon, I think it might have been Family Guy, and they start pulling on the string to make it look like it's launching. Now, in that particular video, that's what it is. It's a model on a string. It's about as obvious as it could possibly be. But to the fundies, it's like, no, you're addressing my point in 2015 that it seems absurd that you could actually film it in the first instance and remote control a camera to move up as this thing that's being remotely controlled from allegedly tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles away by a ground station at Houston. Well, that argument isn't an argument that I would even entertain today. It's like, sorry, where's this happening again? Oh, right, in space. That's the end of the argument. But, you can argue all day about whether or not you can remotely control it and give their just so bullshit justification for remote controlling something via a battery-powered, remote-operated, relay-controlled camera on a rock in a light in a sky in the second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum. That's basically what it is. Back in the day, we didn't appreciate that all of these arguments and stories come from a violation of a law of nature, sky vacuum. But you can argue all day, like I say, about whether or not you can have the gas pressure inside the ISS leaking out if a meteorite hits it and gives you an album cover as the picture. You can argue all day about whether or not they're dropping rings when they're showing you how the toilet mechanism flushes, or whether or not they're on high wires when they do their little spins, because all of those arguments take place in a violation of a law of nature. The sky vacuum isn't real. Outer space is fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container, and the heliocentric model is an open system next to a vacuum. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live, smash the super chat. I think... I can't say your name, Unitox Vemu, also smash the super chat at the end. Much appreciation to you for doing so. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching our Nathan Oakley premiering stream, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!